Today's video topic comes from Balu in the map-making portion of the LittleWarGame Discord. Balu is an individual that spawned a couple of other editor tutorial videos, mostly around the idea of creating neutral creeps or neutral enemies a la League of Legends, or more commonly MOBAs in general, perhaps in Warcraft 3 if you're familiar with those titles. Essentially, anything that you can farm, anything that you can go attack, Balu is really interested in how you make that the case. A previous editor tutorial can be combined with this one, and that editor tutorial discussed how you can make it so that neutral units can attack, therefore you don't have to use a computer slot in order to make them actually attack. So you can certainly combine that with this one, but the question that Balu made that spawned this video was as follows. How do I make sure that units only counterattack? They don't attack unless they themselves have been attacked. And that is actually a simple application of the editor but we're going to go into it because it is quite interesting. So before we get started on the explanation, I'm going to show you what the ultimate goal of this is going to be. We have this wolf right here, and we can move it around, and we see that it doesn't seem to be phased by any of these units, nor do the units seem to be phased by it. However, once our wolf in question attacks a single one of these enemy units, all of the enemy units become active, spring to life, and want nothing more than to kill this wolf. And in fact, they will continue to chase this wolf to the absolute best of their abilities, barring some exceptions, of course. These archers will, in fact, want to move and deal with it accordingly, and we can see that this is exactly the kind of thing that Balu was looking forward to and wants to create. So, how do we do it? Well, the first thing that we have to do is we have to understand that I have made a copy of the archer, the soldier, and the wolf, because again, I don't want to run afoul of any of the default values that exist inside of LittleWarGame. Not everything in the editor has been ironed out. There are certainly some kinks. This is one of the reasons I recommend that whenever you are making things in the editor, even if you don't think you'll be changing default values or running afoul of any problems, the easiest solution is just to make a copy of what you're making. To make it explicit, we have named these copy archer, copy soldier, and copy wolf. It's worth noting that copy archer and copy soldier are in fact exact copies of archer and soldier with one key difference that we'll get to in a second, and the copy wolf is a little bit more tweaked than the others, and that has a new modifier applied to it. Copy archer and copy soldier, however, as stated, are exactly the same with one notable difference. They have is passive set to them. What's important about is passive is as follows. Units that are passive, if you cannot read the tooltip, says passive units don't attack on their own, and that seems to fulfill all the requirements that we need for having these units be neutral or neutral seeming and not counterattack unless they themselves are attacked. In essence, we want them to counterattack, not to initiate an attack. Okay, excellent. So by starting them off as passive, that's how we get the effect that we had in the beginning, where the wolf was running around and didn't seem to bother any of these archers and soldiers. They certainly didn't take umbrage with the fact that it was so close to them. It was only once the wolf actually initiated an attack that all the problems began for the wolf. So how was that done? Well, we'll go over to the copy wolf, and we'll see that the thing that's relevant about the copy wolf is it has a modifier called remove passive aura. So we're going to go over to the modifiers. And we have two modifiers here, and this is all that it takes, in fact, for us to generate the requested effect. We're going to have remove passive aura. Remove passive aura says a unit becomes active and counterattacks, and what it does is it lasts for exactly 1.1 seconds, and it generates an aura called remove passive. It's worth noting, if you aren't familiar with it, how this works exactly. The copy wolf has a modifier on it, but it's worth noting what the tooltip of the modifiers are, because after all, we have modifiers, modifiers self, and spawn modifiers. We're most interested in modifiers because the tooltip reads as follows. Modifiers, this unit applies to other units when attacking them. So, by default, all of these soldiers and archers is passive. They will not attack on their own. So what we're hoping to do is we are hoping to attack one of them. That will generate an aura that is large enough to contain all of the other soldiers and archers in its immediate vicinity, and the effect would be that aura would contain them all and affect them with the ability remove passive. Remove passive, as you may guess, is the beneficiary, is what the remove passive aura is intending to spread, and it lasts for about 10 seconds. Let's change that to be 15 just for the sake of it. And it turns out that what it's doing is it's modifying the is passive ability to subtract 1 from it. Now, why does that work? Well, we'll go over to copy archer, and we can scroll down, and you will see that, in fact, is passive is one of the abilities that is checked here, as was previously mentioned. However, something you may not know about the LittleWarGame editor is that these check marks are Boolean or Boolean-like. And what that means for those of you who aren't in programming is that simply, if it's checked, it counts as a value of true or 1. And if it is unchecked, such as can have waypoint here is unchecked, then that is treated as a value of 0 or false. So whenever we have empty copy, archer currently has is passive checked. That means is passive is set to 1. So if it is attacked, if a unit surrounding this archer, this central archer, let's say this soldier is attacked, it spreads an aura of range about 6. That affects, and you can see by this rough approximation of a circle, that it gathers all of these units inside of it, and that aura affects it with the remove passive ability. Remove passive subtracts 1 from the is passive field of any unit that's caught up in its aura. And so we can see that that would transform it from a value of 1, or true, or is passive, to a value of 0, or is not passive. Therefore, the unit would no longer be passive, and it would be free to attack. And we would get the desired effect of a unit seeming as if it's only counterattacking, because it is waiting for the wolf to apply the aura in question. This is another reason why, by the way, the copy wolf has 10 times its normal hit points, so you can see this effect in action. So we're going to go into it one more time. So now that you understand, here's our wolf. The wolf on attack will give the remove passive aura, but it's not attacking right now. And so all of these units, these archers and your soldiers, and here we go, I'm even amidst the soldiers, and you can see that since I'm not attacking them, they are passive. This is not a question of I have reduced their range to nothing, and it's that they are actually not going to attack, not going to initiate anything on their own, as I sit here and do the attempted figure 8s, but of course I will get body blocked by the soldiers. Now, remember again what will happen. When I attack one of these units, any one of these units, an aura of range about 6 will spawn around it that will cause the remove passive modifier to take effect. That will subtract 1 from the is passive ability of all of these units that are naturally passive, and they will begin to attack me. The duration of the aura is only 1.1 seconds. However, the effect that the aura generates lasts for 15 seconds. So let's see what I can do with that knowledge. We're going to go ahead and, for simplicity's sake, attack the archer in the center here. Once I attack the archer, we expect all these units to spring to life and not allow me to do these cool figure 8s around them any longer. Ready? And notice how there was about a tick of about 1/20th of a second, after which all of these units became active, and they want nothing more than the absolute death of everything that I know and love. And this poor wolf can run as much as it would like, but now that it has attacked all of these units are far, far more interested in actually killing the wolf than letting it roam around and deactivate them once again. So there you have it. We've gone through everything that you need to know in order to make a counterattacking seeming enemy. The one final thing that I would note, and while it extends beyond the drift of this video, is that you can very easily combine this with what was shown previously in the Make Neutral Units Attack video. You would have to once again make abilities that simulate a neutral unit's attack speed and weapon and animation, as was done in that video. If you don't recognize how to do that, or you don't know off the top of your head, I highly encourage you to go to that video. If you do that, then you could in fact take all of these units that belong now to player 2 and set them equal to neutral and cause them to have their desired effect. However, neutral units is passive, not as a checkbox, but by default. And so you would have to have auto-cast abilities in order for them to do that. That would be a bit too much and extend this video's duration a little bit too much. So we're going to go over to settings, just to let you know. If you want to understand how to do this, then you can go to Counterattack Tut or Counterattack Tutorial. It's going to say, make enemy units only attack when they are first attacked. And this is an excellent thing that you can put inside of MOBAs, any kind of farming simulator, gladiator, arena, etc. And I hope most specifically that this answers Balu's question as to how you get this done. So we're going to upload it, and then that'll be it. That's the end of the video. And we'll just go through one more time. It's great to do things in threes. Now that you understand how everything works, we're going to go attack just to show you can do this with any other unit. I attack the soldier, everything springs to life, and once again, our wolf has problems. But you won't have problems in the editor, courtesy of this tutorial.